one of the things I want to start out by saying is, first of all, thank you guys for being here. We thought when we had this idea for a get-together for women that we'd have 20 or 30 women if we were lucky. And for 92 of you women to show up for this day is amazing. The second really amazing God thing is that we reached out to our founders, and we had 2 women who are still dedicated to Alcoholics Anonymous. And they agreed to be here to be with us today. So I feel like, after God, of course, that these 2 women helped save my life and my family's life. Because without Maggie, I know I would not be sitting here today. I got sober, but I found recovery at Maggie's. And because of these 2 women, you got 90, because minus 2, women sitting here very grateful for what you guys have done. So, we wanted to memorialize this. It's really hot up here, so if we start sweating, it's not because we're nervous, just because it's hot. I gotta say this about what you just said to me 2 minutes ago. So Mary was like, "Oh, you're just so pretty," and I go, "Mary, I'm old." She goes, "Well, I just want to tell you, I'm not gay or anything, but you really are pretty." There's nothing about PC here at all, so we all love each other, and it doesn't matter if we're gay or not, we just love each other. Yes, ma'am. So I wanted to ask you some questions about the history of Maggie's, just so that we could have a better understanding of what was going through your minds when this whole thing started. So what prompted the idea of Maggie's? And I'm not going to, you guys just speak amongst yourselves, and it's really casual, so what prompted the idea of the Magdalene House?
12-step calls when I came in, and my name is Mary, and I'm a grateful alcoholic. When I came in 1972, when you got in was you called a group, and they sent 2 ladies or 3 or whatever out to get you and take you to a group. And that's the way I came into AA at the Preston group. And then what started it for me was I made some 12-step calls. You always went in 2s. And one night I'd gone through, I made quite a few 12-step calls. There were a lot of drunks in those, but alcoholics. But anyway, I finally learned my way around it. And some of them I really was kind of torn up about afterwards. I mean, I really cried because drunk women were not treated with very good respect. In the police department or the hospital department, I heard several stories. Women in different years, different backgrounds, everything. And then these stories were the same. And I thought, why didn't somebody do something about this? You know, because everybody was scared to death to talk about it. We're all anonymous, and who's going to, plus I don't have that much courage. So, but anyway, several of us got to talk. Well, what happened was, I really sobered up more than anything at the Richardson group. And it figures very highly in the Magdalene House, because one night at an 8 o'clock meeting, the men got up from the table. I couldn't see what was going on back in there where they entered in this little tiny group. But they got up to help a woman in. And she came in and she sat down right across from me. She was very pretty, long blonde hair, a patch over one eye. She was on crutches, and her face had been slashed. And her left, she was cast from shoulder on, I can't remember all of it. It's horrible. And her mouth was her jaw was wired shut. And she could barely talk. She talked like this, you know. And a truck driver had dumped her out, literally, at the entrance to Parkland. And who did what, I don't know. I never did get that totally clear. It didn't matter. I saw, and sitting right across from me, the saddest sight. for any of us who've been drunk. It could have been any of us. And I thought there's got to be something. And I went home that night and I prayed, and I hope I'm not offending anybody. I don't think I will in Alcoholics Anonymous, or you wouldn't be here. But anyway, I prayed. I said, God, if you want, show me what I can do. Because I'm about to take our politicians and policemen or anything. And I went to a women's meeting, and this woman had been on a 12-step call, and she was very disturbed, and she didn't know whether she'd done any good or not, and I said, you never do. That's what's wonderful about AA. You give away what you got and pray that they keep it. It helps. And so at the meeting, when it was over, there were several women that I knew. And so I brought this subject up. I said, there's got to be something we can do. And they had the 24-hour club for men down on Turtle Creek Drive at that time. And it was a big mansion of a house in the luscious neighborhood, one of them in town. And I thought, well, now the men have always got a place to sober up. You know, they just do. And so I thought, why don't we? Why don't we? So I knew 4 women that I thought would be excellent at Dallas North. Dallas North had started by that time. And 2 of them were in marketing. I think you were in marketing, Alicia. And they were gorgeous, and I was getting up there in age. I'm 89 now with 47 years of sobriety. But anyway, they were in marketing, and they're gorgeous, and they had that personality that marketing people have, you know. And we all talked, and they had time in the program. They'd all made 12-step calls and everything. So we decided we would. They had another friend of mine. Every time she got married, she got drunk and lost her sobriety. And this happened to her. She was gorgeous. She looked like Ava Gardner, and all the men fell in love with her. But every time she'd get married, she'd lose her sobriety. And this happened. Maybe somebody here remembers Jean S. And that was her last husband. Not the last one, but she stayed married to the last one. But we had to drive her down to Houston to get her a place to sober up for free. And there was a house down there, and I found out about that. And then I told the other ones, and so I said, you know, all we can do is go down there and talk to those ladies and see how they did it. So that's what we did. We got a weekend, we could all go, and the 4 of us drove down, and I know you were there for that. And we drove down to Houston, and they were so sweet to us, and they told us, and their support came from, they cooked breakfast every Sunday, and the AA people would come and buy breakfast there. We tried that once in Dallas, it didn't work. Anyway, but we came back, and we divided Dallas up into 4 sections. And each one, we could actually cover almost to Fort Worth, but not really. I mean, I think Irving was as far as we could go that way. But we covered it. And we all would contact the women that we knew there, and we would meet at this house. It was somewhere north in Richardson. Excuse me, I need my Kleenex. I'm sorry.
No, please.
And so, what?
It was on Abrams.
It was on Abrams. I couldn't remember where it was, but it was a little house. It was empty. It was for sale, and somebody in AA owned it and gave it to us. And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. There you go.
Well, I think there. Excuse me. But I get carried away sometimes, and I don't know whether I'm laughing or crying. But anyway, we met there. And we all contacted who we were supposed to contact, and then they told their groups, the women. And we met at this house and told them again why we were there, and we passed the hat. Now people were bulging, women were actually bulging out on the porch and the back door, and I mean that house was full. And there was one man in there, and he was the guy that went with Melba and ran the 24-hour club. I don't know whether he thought we were going to encroach or what. But anyway, he was there, and we just told him what the deal was, and passed the basket and took in $1,200. Which, yeah, it was a lot. I mean, those days, that was a lot of money. And it paid for 2 months' rent in this house. We gave 3 Saturdays that we all got together and we go around and look at houses that were for rent that we could use. And then we found it, and this little place on Lover's Lane. And I slept there the first night with 2 other women. And dadgummit, the phone didn't ring. It didn't ring. And that's the way things happen sometimes. But anyway, and at that time I'd been on the board, and then the lady left that ran central office, and they elected me to be the director of central office. So I was doing both. And one day, and then I'll shut up and go to Alicia, but one day the phone, this Magdalene House to me is the closest I've ever felt to God. Now that's just it. I mean, I felt like maybe he used me for something. In some way, he's been paid back a little. And anyway, I got to trouble. I get off the tangent and I can't get back to where I was.
Central office.
Yeah, I was in central office, and they called me. And they said, Mary, you better get down here. There's 2 women. One of them's naked out fighting in the bushes. Now, this is on of Lover's Lane, and I forgot what that side street was, but anyway. And oh, by the way, we had gone to the police department that was close by and told them who we were and what was going to be going on there. Well, there weren't any police cars, thank God. It was broad daylight, and they were wrestling in the bushes. And I said, we're going to talk about this. And the only reason I'm kind of, I think it must have been a pink was there in 2 seconds in a great big Mercedes Benz, and picked one up that was naked.
Yep.
And the other one sat and listened and sort of was beaten up. But anyway, I went back to the office, and I hope you're ready, Alicia, but anyway, I talked to my assistant, and I went and prayed about it that night, and then I thought, we didn't have any officers, I don't think, or I don't remember at that time at Magdalene's, but it was all volunteer, like everything in AA, and I thought, I can't do both, because I had to be as available there as I was here. And so at that time, I had to resign from doing anything at the Magdalene House, especially spending the night, and stay on and see how it would go. And I prayed about it, and look at this room. I think we did the right thing. And you can let go in AA. You do what you do. You work with people, but you don't own them. And they go on. And that's the best thing that could have happened here. And as I say, this room shows you. I'll change places with you, Lee, and you take over from there, because not that I got inactive. I did the steps there, I'd go down and talk and all that stuff, but I couldn't really function as a director, as you know. I mean, you can't do that and do the same thing to the city of Dallas alcoholics.
I understand that. I understand that, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I had to make that decision, and I'd been taught that you could let go without, any guilt or anything. I'd done my job, and now it was either going to fly or not, and it has flown.
It has fun. I would say it has fun. So, Alicia, I want to ask you a couple of questions. How did you guys come up with the name, the Magdalene House?
Oh, that's fun. On the way to Houston was Mary and Janelle, God rest her soul, Sharon and me. And Mary said, okay, what are we going to call this place? We didn't have a place, but what are we going to call this place? I don't know, we're thinking about it. She said, I have always had a dream of having a house like this for women in Dallas and calling it the Magdalene House. After Mary Magdalene, the fallen woman in the Bible. What do y'all think about that? She said. I thought, well, house real good. Of course, Mary and Janelle had grown up Catholic, and Janelle not practicing in a long time, but Janelle said, oh, that might be too much Bible or something. And we said, well, you know, if Magdalene House bothers them, they just call it Maggie's.
That's perfect.
And there it was.
Wow. Perfect.
Yep.
Tell us about the drive. Tell us about the drive to Houston. What was that like, and what did you find when you got there?
The drive to Houston, well as any drive to Houston, even that long ago. It was exciting, it was a little scary, and we didn't know what we were going into, but we just felt like it was the right thing to do. They had called, you know. We knew there was a woman in Dallas who had sobered up in that house, and Mary tried to find her and couldn't. So when we got down there, somebody made contact. The very next day, Monday morning after we got back, Alice called Mary. I hear you're looking for me. But going down, it was all the unknown. You know, that's what we do in our lives, but everything is the unknown. What's going to happen? How is this going to work? How would we do this? How, you know.
I love the Broad Highway story. Can you tell us about that? Oh, it's a good story.
Yes. So we're sitting in a hotel room that night, Saturday night, and we're thinking, okay, there's going to be a group to get this thing going, keep it running, have some meetings, what have you. So what do we call a group? So we're piled up in the room, and I'm in the middle of the bed, and I'm flipping through the big book, and I come to page 55. And I said, you know, maybe this is a broad highway. It's the highway for the broads. It became the broad highway.
I love that so much. So tell us about Lover's Lane. How did you guys find the house on Lover's Lane?
Well,
It's a great story.
maybe Alicia can tell it better than I could. I just remember it took us 3 Saturdays to find it. And we went through one that evidently great huge 2-story place down close to where I think the new house is going to be. And there were obviously drifters who spent the night there because we found bags and all kinds of weird stuff. But it was big, but we didn't want to be there. And I don't know. I can't remember. It was just one of the houses. I just remember we went through it and we thought that maybe Alicia knows more about that. I mean, I was there, but I don't recall. You have to give me something
About
for
the-
age.
You're fine.
Yeah.
About the woman who came and you guys didn't know how you're going to pay for the rent, and she gave you guys the house. She allowed you guys to rent it for free. She was in the alley and came around and started talking to you guys about how the house. Do you remember that?
No.
I love you guys so much.
What I do remember is, I think it was a realtor somewhere or something that told us about the house. We were going to meet over there and look at the house. In the meantime, Alice, who had sobered up in Houston, had made contact with Mary, but we hadn't met her, or at least we hadn't met her. So we all get over to the little house on Lover's Lane, back door, and who's standing there waiting to get in but Alice? And as it turns out, Alice's son just lived a couple of streets behind the house and was part of the neighborhood watch and all that good stuff. You know, by the way, there was a liquor store cornered across the corner from the house. You know, I've gone to several groups that have a liquor store underneath them, so, you know, it's there. But when we did find it, and we knew we had to have parking, so there was a vacant lot on the corner with plenty of parking for meetings. We figured whatever we found was going to take a lot of fixing up.
Yes.
This house required nothing but cleaning, and my soon-to-be husband at the time took a door off a hall closet, and we had the phone company put a telephone in and made a telephone booth out of it. And that was all we had to do, that and drag up a few pieces of furniture here and there as we could. Yeah.
Perfect.
So what did you guys have as a vision? What did you guys think how the Magdalene House was going to grow? And what did you guys, how did you, in your mind, what did you think that how the Magdalene House was going to grow? What the future was going to be like?
I know what I hoped it would be like,
Well, tell us.
which is what it is now. Only I would like to see a Magdalene House in every city in the state. And I would just give anything that you girls, or some girl in here, some lady, woman, would carry this message and start it somewhere, get it going. And I know that Kathleen, you all know Kathleen, is putting a bid in for Dallas to have, it will be the second National Women's Convention of Alcoholics Anonymous here. And you might start praying for that, because that would be a great way for them to find out about the Magdalene House and get behind it. You have some representative from every state in the union. And the idea, I think the Holy Spirit will pick it up and carry it from there. The wind. I just want it to be everywhere that any girl or woman would need it. We need to be around one another. And it helps so much. That's my dream. It's all over.
I had no earthly idea that it was going to work or not. We were really, I think, scared to death that it wasn't going to work. And spending that first night in the house, and it was kind of like waiting. And early the next morning, we got the call from the 24-hour club that said, "Are y'all open for business? We got a woman here." Yep, bring her on down. And they brought Joyce down, and she was the first one to sober up there, became the first house mother. But I think it was a really good, another good lesson, experience of being in the now, in the moment. Do what you can do in front of you, and let God handle the rest. It's the only way.
And I do believe that's why it's been so successful, because God definitely lives there. I know I found God. I want to tell you guys a story. We got a phone call at Maggie's a couple of weeks ago from the No Way Out group. So the No Way Out women's facility in Houston is where we found, or where Alice, the woman that you're talking about, found sobriety, and you guys went down there to look at the facility. So we got a call a couple of weeks ago that the facility is in trouble. And so we have several of them, there's 3 women who are coming up in the middle of November to look at our facility, and we're going to help them revive it and get it back on the ground. So where they helped us, we're going to go back and help them. So I'm very excited to do that. They're very afraid to lose the only free facility in Houston, so we're very excited to be able to help. So I just want you guys to know that what comes around goes around.
And the beat goes on.
And the beat goes on. God takes care of all of that. So one last question. If you could say one thing to the women here, here to hear you guys and celebrate you and honor you, what would that one piece of advice be for all of us Maggie's girls?
Well, I just remember what they said to me and to all of us as we go out, they keep coming back, but keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. I don't know if they still say that or not, but I would just say keep on keeping on and let it grow. Let it grow. None of us need to be dumped out on cement. Thank you.
Ditto. I think the most important thing that we do is we pass it on. We give away what has been so freely given to us.
Well, I want to give you guys an update, and I know I've talked to you guys about this before, but we have broken every record that Maggie's has ever had in the last year. We've had more women come through the house we've ever had. We're projected to have over 350 admissions this year, so thank you guys. Yes. And the new facility, which we broke ground and started construction, we're gonna have 20 beds, so we'll be projected well over 400 in the year 2021. So what you guys have done is affected hundreds of thousands of families. So we all here just want to give one more round to say thank you. One of the honors of my life to be with you guys. All right, so now Miss Kathleen is going to come up and do a presentation for us, which we're so excited to talk to you about.